Welcome to another Nasdaq review for January 26, 2026. My name is Aaron, NQ Ninja, and I want to show you kind of what we saw today. So the first thing I'm going to do is show you the review of this morning's post. So this morning I called out, and I do this every morning, I pick out some sort of time frame that I think there's a pretty good setup on, and I talk through the strengths and the weakness in that setup. So the strength option here, or the strength play this morning, was I was talking about pay attention to this 500 level that we were at earlier. And I said if we could get above this level, we could probably break up into this higher area, which I can't tell on the chart here, but essentially if we break that area, we would be pushing up. And so we did get that play today. This was a inverse head and shoulders. I call it a shampoo because of head and shoulders. But anyhow, looking at this, so I said that I would be watching the 2, the 5, and the 15-minute charts on the intraday setups. So from a higher level on the 6-hour, I see the setup. So let's go to kind of look at that. So I'm going to switch over. So what did I see? So if I look at the 30-minute here, I'll show you what I see. So this line that you're seeing across is the daily. So let's go ahead and look at the daily. It's the daily trend line that we've been fighting. Now, we were showing some resistance for a couple days, and then today we made our way up off of that to the upside. Now, I'd really be interested to see what we do tomorrow, being that we do have kind of this area that we've gone up to, and then we just bounce off of that. So the question is can we get that move continuation to the upside? Because if we can break above, let's just say 26,115 or so, I would feel pretty good of this becoming support around here. And then that way, when this comes up, it might come back down, bounce, and then try to move up off of that. So that's kind of what I'd be kind of looking at here on the daily. Now, I was talking about the 6-hour this morning. So what did I see on the 6-hour? So the 6-hour was showing us, and again, we do have this gap over here, but what I saw was this clean head down here. And then we really try to there's nothing much here, but this is your area of your left shoulder. And then you can see what we did. If you look to the right, we kind of created this support, which is our right shoulder. And I thought if we could really keep this area, we had a really good chance of moving up. Now, we did have this trend line we had to be careful of, this diagonal daily. But if we could get above that, we were most likely going to continue up. And that is what we got today. So let's kind of look at the intraday and look at what we had there. So knowing that the way was up, something else I wanted to kind of point out here too is you'll see this candle right here with this large wick, right? This single candle gives me a lot of information. So this is telling me, one, that either we're super strong and we're going to get basically some sort of like sweep here to then push up, or we're going to get a rejection. This was my weakness move, right? You can see it here, right? These cups continue to play out, cup, cup, cup. And what I was seeing is this right here. So if we get this move up and we start to kind of fade right here, and today was the big day, right? If we start to continue to fade, we're going to get that move back down at least to this area around 23,660 or so, in my opinion. So we didn't get that. We got the break up off of that. So let's kind of go down to intraday and look at some setups that we had on the day. So as you guys know, I use zones. So zones are very important with the market structure, zones, and I use moving averages along with candle, just reading candles themselves. So I'm gonna go ahead and turn these on. So I'll kind of talk through these. So the pink one is the 9 EMA, the green is the 200, and the white dotted line is the VWAP. So that's kind of what I have. So looking at the 15-minute here, let's talk through this morning. So this morning, I'm gonna actually go down to the 5-minute here, really get into some detail here. So this morning, let's see, we actually had this channel. I mentioned this. Where was it at? I think that channel is going to be something like this. Yeah, something like that. So we had this channel. We were getting touches on both sides. So what I was looking for this morning, and it's interesting how this always happens around the opening, but around 9:30, we did get the break of this channel to the upside. Once we got the break above this channel on the 5, we really created this body. You can see this body right here. I was starting to feel good about this. The biggest thing that was telling me high probability of up is once we opened up this new candle here and we took out the top of the previous candle. So once we got above this 775.75, that is where I was thinking we probably want to get back up to this 820-ish level. Is kind of what I was looking at. So you can see if I took that out, let's just say I took it at 780, right? I could easily take that for 20 points around 800 and just call it a day. I actually did take one of these, a trade up here to call it a day. So when we did get a break here, I took that for, I think it was about 15 points. I did take NQ. Typically I will go MNQ, but I saw the move. So yeah, that's kind of what I saw here. What are some of the things that we can really get out of this, what we're seeing here, right? What are some takeaways that we can take out of it? So if you look at this, one thing you're going to notice is that there's all this strength, right? Green, green, green to the moon, right? Green, green, green. Here's a red. And then we get to this area and notice what we're doing. We start to kind of build liquidity. Now, that doesn't mean that we're creating weakness. It could just mean we're kind of taking a deep breath, right, in the market. So big move up, right? We start to kind of build liquidity right here. So that's what we see. And if you take this to the 2-minute, so what time is that? That's at like 10:05. So if we look at like 10:05 or so, where is that at? So like right here. So what we could do is we could say, oh, okay. So we have something like this. And I know there's not all perfect touches, right? But you're getting all these. It's just liquidity building, okay? It's not about perfectly trend lines, but wicks are touching this line. There's no bodies above this line. Then we break above that right here. Thought about taking that this morning. I didn't take it, and that's okay. I didn't need to take it. But that's another break. So that's a bull flag, and that we move up. We get this control move to the downside, right, in this channel, and then it breaks out of that to get above the previous high that we had. So that's what we saw there. Now, we did, I will say this too, we did start to kind of round off, and I've really started to kind of see this really well, where we round off into these zones. You can see it touch these zones. And then later in the day, we kind of made our move back down to the downside. So if we kind of zoom out to see what that looks like, you can see we had, this zone area. Again, these zones, they matter, right? Huge wicks up here that really bounce. Would I be trying to take a long or up here? No. Would I be taking a short? Probably not either. I would want to see several of these. So there's 1, 2, right, 3, 4, 5, 6. After 6 of these, I'm thinking, okay, well, pretty good chance of this moving down, right? We're kind of building this resistance wall, if you will, up here. So probably going to try to move down. And that's exactly what happened. You could kind of draw this if you wanted. Builds that liquidity, breaks down, builds liquidity, breaks down. And look where we ended, right back into this zone. So what type of structure are we seeing here? This would be another inverse cup. So you have it here, and then it just moves back down. So we start in this area, we finish in this area. But look what it does. It takes this time. Again, I'm just kind of showing what the market is doing, because it's important to understand what these candles are actually doing. So this move down, right, dips back into where the buyers are sitting at, right? So they're sitting here, they collect more buyers to then make that move up. Now, we're in the aftermarket here, so that's kind of what we're seeing in the after. This is actually the next day, but that's kind of what we saw. Hopefully that made sense. Again, I post every morning on YouTube the strength if strong and then the weakness scenario if weak. So check those out. They have been playing out pretty regularly. So I've been blessed to kind of see those. Thank you for joining, and I will talk to you soon.